And then if you simply just want to add a new record, you can click on the Add New Record tab. You can pull up that name and you can put in the date in, date out, time in, and time out. And whether it was just regular sales hours or you can click on the non-sales hours. Once you're done, you can click on the Save button down at the bottom. So that's how, with someone that has permission to get into the time clock screen on the back end, you can open records, see all the open records, you can manage records and edit, and then you can just simply add new records if needed to. Now the last part is running time clock reports. So to do that, you can click on Reporting and Salespeople and Time Clock Data. If you were the store owner, you might want to be at the top level and you'll be able to look at all your stores. If you just wanted to look at one particular store, you could certainly change it to that store number if you just want that store on this report. If you're a store owner or manager and you're at the top level, you'll be able to, on the report criteria, select the store or stores. If you're doing all the stores, you can just leave it blank. So once we're in the time clock data screen, you have the report options tab, the report criteria tab, and the printing options tab. So we're on the report options tab, and the default output method is PDF, so report format. And what period would you like to view? If you click on this drop down, these are all your different options that you can look at for the time clock records. So if you just wanted to know month to date, you could click on month to date. If you want to know for the last 2 weeks, then you can click on this selected dates and just put the date range in. We're going to do month to date. To the right, we have what users would you like to include. Include unapproved users, include disabled users, and include deleted users. So you can choose if you want to check all of them or which ones you want to check. Then you have how would you like to treat your stores. Store option, either separate stores or combined stores. If you're a single store, you're always going to do separate stores. If you're multiple stores and you want each store separate, you can choose separate stores or you can combine them. Now we have report criteria. So if you click on the report criteria tab, the selections in here, you have by store state, by salespeople. So you can either leave everything blank if you want to do all your stores. You can put a particular store number or store numbers in. Same thing with salespeople. If you want to just look at a few salespeople, you can put a salesperson. You can select multiple salespeople. You can also exclude this data just by clicking on the exclude checkbox. So if you wanted to run a report for everybody except for maybe 3 of your salespeople, you could put in these salespeople and click on the exclude checkbox. Then we have the printing options tab. And this is just also print. Do you want to print the salesperson detail? Once you're ready to run the report, you can click on Add Job and Run. This will bring you to the report history. So you can click on that time clock report. And if you want to open it up and look at it, click on Open. And this opens up your report so you can view it. So you'll see the time clock report. You can make things bigger or smaller. I clicked on the zoom in and clicked on it and made it bigger. If I want to make it smaller, I can just zoom out. I can change the size of my window to make it bigger or smaller so I can see the entire report if I need to. Now I'll see for this store, I have the salesperson, the time in, the time out, the total hours. If there was any non-sales hours, if this person was clocked in by somebody else, has their actual time in case somebody clocked them in at a certain time, and clocked out by an actual time out. And then you have the salesperson totals. You can scroll through the pages on the right, or you can go page by page. Next page. This shows the totals for store 1 for the hours. You can go to the end just by clicking on the last page button. That'll bring you to the very last page. Or you can go to the beginning by clicking on the first page button. That'll bring you back to the top. And at the top you can print it directly to your printer. If you click on the printer icon, you can save a copy somewhere to your hard drive. You can email this to somebody if you want to email it. You can search for certain things on this report by clicking on the search button. So the difference between the time in and the time out and the actual time in and the actual time out, this is more as a red flag for you on the report. So if I forgot to clock in and I had to have my manager clock me in, it's going to show the actual time in and actual time out when they clocked me in. So they could put it for the correct time so that way you get credit for your actual hours, but it'll show you when they did that, so you can look at that if needed. So that gives you an overview of how to use the time clock feature in Rix Enterprise. If you have any questions at all, feel free to call the support department and we'll be glad to help you out. This video will also be on Rix Enterprise permanently, so it'll be in your video library to the right, so you can quickly access it when needed.